All right, so the good stuff. What can you use AI for in events, right? So it's end-to-end, right? Right from planning your event, where you can create checklists, where you can ask the AI for blind spots, right? So you're doing an event in a new city, it might just tell you, hey, there are these regulations that you need to be aware of, right? You can create the agenda for your event, right? So you can actually tell it, hey, I'm doing an event in blockchain. I want my sessions to be cutting edge, and then I want, say, a bunch of sessions that are panel discussions. Some of them are keynotes, some of them are workshops. You can give it all that input, and in seconds, it's going to give you a bunch of options, right? You can also tell it, hey, for each of these sessions, can you suggest speakers or influencers that I can actually call to my event? And it's going to do that, right? I'm going to show you a few real examples of how we can use this tool to get these results, right? It can also tell you, how do I, who are the right sponsors I need to go after for this event, right? And then there are a bunch of other things, right? From event promotion, that is, creating email copies to social media posts, all of that, right? If I were to give you a rule of thumb, okay, that is, in marketing, most things that can be done by a junior to a mid-level marketing person, as of today, some of the good AI is able to do it. So that's the rule of thumb, right? Humans are absolutely needed, but when it comes to these systems, you need smarter and smarter humans. Not necessarily technically smarter, but you need to have the domain expertise, right? So our jobs are going nowhere, right? But we need, the way we use these tools, we need to be a little smart about it, and I'll take you through that. All right, here I'm going to take you through a few tools. Some of them we spoke about. My idea is to compare them in terms of my personal experience, so that probably saves you, a bunch of time, right? So what you see first on the left-hand side is content planning, research, content creation, right? So you have ChatGPT, Notion, Bing, Bard, right? Simple. Right now, ChatGPT seems to be the best, right? So you have two versions of it, 3.5 and 4. 4 is the most advanced version according to them, costs about $20 a month. 3.5 is free as of today. Notion.ai is surprisingly not spoken about, but it's good. It helps you in your workflow, right? And Bing Chat, okay, is supposed to use the ChatGPT technology, and it's supposed to have browsing in it as well, right? But surprisingly, the output is not that great, because they also want you to use their standard search and not just the chat-based interface, right? And then you have Bard by Google, which again was promoted heavily by a lot of influencers, but if you actually go and use it, it gives you a lot of wrong data as of today, right? So when it started off, Bard used to actually say, hey, I don't know the answer to a lot of the questions that you're answering. So people went online and said, hey, what, you can answer it. And then what they did is they tweaked it to give you wrong answers, right? So Bard very confidently gives you a lot of wrong answers that you need to be careful about. Image generation, again, you have Midjourney, DALL-E, Canva AI, and Cleanup. Midjourney, in my opinion, is the best right now. DALL-E is by the same guys that created ChatGPT, but it's not as good as Midjourney. Canva, again, haven't got great results from it. Canva AI that I'm talking about. Cleanup Pictures is a tool. It's an AI tool that is able to do a lot of editing stuff that even trained Photoshop folks take hours to do. You can do it in minutes in that tool, right? And then there are a bunch of tools that are for matchmaking, facial recognition. I'm going to gloss over that a little bit. What I've done is I've taken a few screenshots of how do we actually use this in real life, right? So this is ChatGPT in action. ChatGPT has a feature called plugins that gets enabled if you pay them the $20 a month, right? And these are superpowers to the underlying ChatGPT, right? All right. So here's what I've done over here, right? So I've said I'm running a 2-day blockchain event in California. I want you to act as an event expert and help me execute the event. List all the tasks I must cover in order to successfully execute the event, and highlight the tasks that you can help me with, right? So this is the list. It says I can help you in planning, venue selection. No, it says I can't help you with venue selection. So you can actually use it for research, right? Speaker selection, content creation, promoting your event, all of that, right? It's a pretty exhaustive list. And then what I do is I want you to look at the left hand of this page, right? So what I've said is, help me create the agenda for this event in a tabular format, okay? And I want keynotes, panel discussion, workshops, and I want the sessions to be cutting edge, and they should be able to attract strong interest from the community, right? So, and for each session, I want you to mention a list of speakers and also tell me why they would be a good fit, right? Because I'm not just going to believe you. So this is the output that you get on the left. It's pretty good, when it talks about, say, Defy stuff, right? It's able to get relevant speakers and it's able to list them, right? What you do notice is the topics that are there, right? The topics are good, okay? And this is not the full screen. It actually gives you a large output that I'm not able to show you because of space limitations. But the topics can definitely look a lot more attractive. So what I actually did is I went and told it, hey, make these topics sound a little more interesting, and it actually does that for you, right? So that's not shown over here, but you can actually make it do that, right? I'm showing you the second screen because you can see on, okay, so you can see there is finish browsing on top, right? So I actually clicked on that, and what it does is, before it came up with this output, it actually went on the internet, it saw what the latest trends in blockchain are, it found out who the influencers are, and based on that, it gave you the output on the left of your page, right? So that's what happened under the hood. So yeah, and then I said, okay, this is my agenda. Help me create 10 appealing social media posts from it, right? Again, it does a pretty good job of it, right? It includes hashtags, mentions the speakers, typical things that I will ask a junior content social media guy to do. It does it, right? Next, on the left-hand side, right, I basically asked it to create an email campaign that uses the loss aversion framework in order to send out emails to potential attendees, right, pushing them to buy tickets, right? And again, it creates a 3-part email campaign. Quality of that is decent, right? Because the size is small, right? If you give some of these tasks to some of the junior content creators, right, they'll create a huge email and all that, right? So a lot of the best practices have been followed, when it created this, right? And then I went and I said, hey, help me decide the budget for this event. It started browsing, and it actually broke, right? So that is one of the features we haven't cracked yet. The browsing doesn't work that well. So what I said is, hey, stop it, don't browse, tell me what you already know, yeah? So then it actually tells me, okay, then what I told it is, asking someone for a budget for an event just through 1 or 2 lines is not enough, right? So what you can do is you can tell ChatGPT, hey, ask me what all do you want me to tell you in order to be able to come up with a budget, right? So I said, ask me questions. So it says, okay, how many attendees do you expect? Is it a hybrid event? Is it an in-person event, right? Do you own the technology, or are you going to source it? Are you going to pay your speakers, right? So all of this, and then I answer it, and based on the answers, it gives me a bunch of estimates, and here's the result that you have, right? What you see on the next section on the right over here, I said, okay, I have my budget. So now tell me, what are my venue options inside California, right? So it's actually asking me an intelligent question. Which city in Cali do you want to have this event? And I say, okay, San Francisco, right? And it gives me a bunch of options. And I also ask it to tell me the pros and cons of this, right? So it does that. And then I say, okay, can you go online and give me the average reviews of everyone you've recommended? And then it tries to browse and it kind of breaks over there, right? So the AI is not yet perfect, right? But it did a pretty good job in a very, very short amount of time. So this is the next part. Time check, okay. This is for image creation, image generation, right? So what you see over here, right, on the left-hand side is a bunch of images that have been